So I love that song, I release and I let go. Except I've rewritten it. I know the writer, Ricky Beckwood, would be thrilled, Ricky Byers, to know that I've rewritten her song. So here's my version of it. I release and I let go, and then about 10 minutes later, I pick it back up and I hang on to it again. Because I'm positive that Spirit needs my help. Some of you are looking at me like I'm crazy, and that's all right, because that is a crazy thought. But often that's where I am with that song. I pick it up and I hang on to it, and I hang on to it, and I hang on to it, and I just keep right on hanging on. And I think that's a part of the way we've been taught in our Western culture, is that once we get something, don't let it go. Hold on to it as long as you can. The problem is we hold on to the bad as long as we hold on to the good. So while we have things going on in our life and we have things that we can let go of, we need to learn to really release them and let go. We need to let go of those things that no longer work with us. It's not true that he who has the most toys wins. Because when we're dead, we're dead. We've moved on to the next part of our journey. We don't get to take those things, those toys with us. They don't go along on the trip. So we need to learn how to release and let go of the things that we are no longer finding to be useful to us, things that are no longer serving us, things like blame, shame, guilt. All of those are things that we can put aside. Things like junk. How many of you have a junk drawer at home? Raise your hand. Come on, be proud. How many of you have more than one? I'm not going to ask about a junk room because I used to have one of those when I was younger. My parents just called it my room, but as a teenager, it was kind of the junk room. But I just collect everything. I put it in there and I hang on to it and I don't let it go. And I kept it in that room and I kept it and I kept it and I didn't want to let go of anything. And finally, I got it. You've got to release some of this stuff. Because if I don't get that junk out of my room or out of my junk drawer, I don't have space for more stuff. It works that way spiritually too. The longer we hang on to it, the less space we have for that which is new. The longer we hold on to things, the less time and the less ability we have to let go of the things that we really need to let go of. Havelock Ellis, who's a French physician, said, all of the art of living lies in the fine mingling of letting go and holding on. So knowing when to let go and knowing what to hold on to, what's most important to you. Eckhart Tolle says, sometimes letting things go is an act that is a far greater power than hanging on. Let it go. So think, how many of you were here for the Burning Bowl service? That service where we write down all those things we want to get rid of? Good. How you doing on that? Not yet. Some of us are in that not yet category, right there with you, friend. A lot of us have those things that we're trying to get rid of. And what maybe we've learned is sometimes it takes time. You can't just automatically go, I'm done with this, I turn my back on it, I walk away. Some of the things that we need to let go are hurts that have been part of us for our entire life. But we have to learn to let it go and move forward for the things that are next. In Genesis 19 is the story of Lot and his wife fleeing from Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a story most of us know, and it's one that we've heard over and over. And God said to them, whatever you do, don't look backwards. Go, leave, move forward. And they did for a little while. They kept going forward, they were moving forward, and then suddenly that pang of guilt or whatever it was caused Lot's wife to look backwards. And when she did, what happened to her? She turned into a pillar of salt. Don't look backwards. Now, there's a lot metaphysically in there that I'm not touching today, but we should sometime. But don't look backwards. We need to keep moving forward and keep going forward, because the more we look back, the more we're going to see our hands full of all that junk we used to keep, all of that stuff that we've had that's no longer there for each one of us. If we keep looking back, we can't move forward. You ever tried to run backwards? I played football when I was younger, and they taught us how to run backwards so that you can see if the ball is coming. After one day of doing this exercise, I learned that I did not need to be on defense where you had to run backwards. I should play on the offensive line where basically you just have to hit people out of your way. I was good at that. I was not so good at running backwards. None of us are truly. But we try it on occasion. We need to let go of that running backward and know that we just need to move forward in our life and move forward into the things that are coming, all the good that's coming to us. And as we look toward that, and as we look toward a new space and creating a new space for the new things that are coming to us, all that new good that's going to come, I want to remind you of a song that Karen Drucker has called Gentle with Yourself. Because, my friends, we need to learn to be gentle with ourselves. It says, I will be gentle to myself. I will be gentle with myself. I will treat myself like a newborn baby child. As you're starting to release and you're starting to let go, treat yourself like that newborn baby child. The rest of her song says, I will not go any faster than the slowest part of me feels safe to go. It's okay that we haven't finished what we started at Burning Bull. 5 years from now, if I ask you that same question, you may give me the same answer. Because some things that we need to release take more time and take more energy than just, as I said, turning our back on it and being done. Sometimes we need to let it kind of sit there for a moment or two, and then we need to release it as we're able to do so. But be gentle with yourself as you release. So what do we need to let go of? Some of us just need to let go of clutter. I'm sure I'm the only one who has a garage that's so full of junk, my car won't fit in it. In fact, I'm fairly certain that I've told you before, I'm not even sure a Matchbox car would fit in my garage right now. We started working on cleaning it out. And I will be honest enough to say the only reason we started doing it was because we had to put in a new hot water heater. And there wasn't a path to it. So now we've cleaned out some sections, and now we feel kind of emboldened to clean out the rest of it and to get rid of all that junk, all that stuff that we've held on to really for no reason. I have 3 Christmas trees in my garage that don't work. I'm sure there was some part of me that felt a need to hang on to those suckers because I was going to need them one day, but I have no idea what for. I need to let them go. I need to let go of that clutter. Within 3 miles of my house are 7 self-storage places. 7. I did some studying. It's estimated that by the year 2027, storage businesses will rake in $83.7 billion from the stuff that we hang on to. $83.7 billion of our junk. That's when I look at myself and go, when is enough enough? What more do I need to hang on to? What more do I need to pay somebody else to hang on to? 90% of those storage places are in the U.S. That probably tells us something right there. It's our Western culture that tells us to hold on to it. But what we need to learn to do is to let go of that junk. There's a quote that says, true wealth lies not in the accumulation of things, but in the quality of our lives, the quality of our relationships and of our personal growth. By letting go of the relentless pursuit of material possessions, we open ourselves up to a world of abundance, contentment, and true prosperity. We may need to let go of some emotional attachments. Letting go of those deeply ingrained emotional things that we've held on to for quite a while. Maybe we need to go to our heart space and ask what it is we need to let go of. Maybe it's a toxic relationship. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe it's some childhood trauma. But we need to start the process at least while being gentle with ourselves to let go of those things, to let go of those things that are no longer serving us for our highest and our best. Letting go doesn't always mean saying you're done and walking away. Sometimes it's that work. And we need to keep doing that work bit by bit by bit. Part of that work might be forgiveness. Forgiveness is to me the most difficult spiritual thing that we are called to do. Just to forgive, to let things go, to be done with something, to forgive someone, to forgive myself, to just let that forgiveness take over. We need to be doing our forgiveness work. We need to be doing the work that we're called on to do in our lives, and a lot of that is forgiveness work. And I invite you to consider, what do you need to forgive today? That's something that has to do with release. For when we release that, we do that, we forgive others, then we have a better time in our lives living the life that we're called to live. Some of us need to let go of the unknown. Any of you ever tried to step out on faith and then before you got there took a step backwards? I have. I know that I'm supposed to be doing something. I know that it's exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I'm fearful of that first step out there because I'm not sure what's out there. That puts me into that uncharted territory. That puts me in that area that's kind of in the middle. I don't know what's going to happen, so I just hang on to what I'm used to. I hang on to what I'm normally accepting and doing, and I don't take that step forward. But we need to learn to let go of those things that are unknown to us and not worry about it. Step out in faith. That's one of our 12 powers. We have the power of faith to step out and to do that which we've been called to do that which Spirit's led us to do. Some of us need to let go of our identity. There are people who have this thing about who they are. Will people respect me if I no longer have this job, this title, this whatever, this big house? The answer is yes. That has nothing to do with it. We need to learn to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. You may find that you're asking yourself, do you need to let go of a person? Sometimes the answer there is also yes. If it's a toxic person in your life or someone that's caused you pain over and over and over, why do we keep going back to that person? We need to learn to release them and let them go. We may need to let go of societal pressure. I love when people say, I don't care what other people think about me. And then we live just like we really do care what other people think about us. We need to get to that point where we really don't, where we can let that go. It doesn't matter what society thinks of the way we live our life. It matters what I and God think about the way I'm living my life. And when I can release all those other pressures, then I can move out and do exactly what I'm called to do. I can move out to be myself, my authentic, integral self, and to be exactly who I am and to do the things that I've been called to do. We may need to let go of our limiting beliefs, that belief of lack, that belief that we're not everything that we should be. You are. You are perfect just like you are. I say that over and over. There are ways that we can be even better than we are. I can become more as I continue to work on myself. But for right now, right where I am perfect. You are perfect in the sight of God just like you are, period. Nothing else matters. It's your relationship with God that is important, not your relationship with society, not your relationship with those around you. We need to let go of those limiting beliefs. We need to let go of the thought that we can't do something. We need to let go of the thought that we're not worthy of every good thing that the kingdom has to offer us. The song says, here I am to worship, and you are worthy. You are worthy of everything. It's God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That's in Luke. It is there for us. It is God's good pleasure to give us everything. But we need to sometimes let go of what's in our hands to take the new. Ever stuck your hand in a jar and grabbed something and then tried to get your hand back out of the jar? Doesn't work very well. The only way to get it back out is to let go of what's in your hand. Same is true when we're looking at things in our personal lives. If we want to get more of something, if we want to get the better of something, if we want to get the good that is there, then we have to let go of that which we've been carrying with us forever and ever. True wealth, true prosperity lies not in the accumulation of things, but in the quality of our lives, our relationships, and our personal growth. By letting go of the relentless pursuit of material possessions, we open ourselves up to a world of abundance, contentment, and true prosperity. want you to say this with me this morning. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. God loves me and wants the very best for me. God loves me and wants the very best for me. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am prosperous. I am prosperous. Know those statements are true about you. Let go of all those things that cause doubt and know that that is true. You are a child of God, and God loves us and wants the very best for each one of us. So how do we let go of stuff? Some of us need to simplify our lives. Mostly this one, I'm just talking to me, but the rest of you can listen if you'd like to. Release that bad and draining energy that we have out there. Let go of those things and those people who drain our energy. Cling on to those things that are good for us, that are best for us. We need to let go and simplify. Let go of any object that we've become attached to any people that we've become attached to any thoughts that we've become attached to, so that we can move on to what's best for us. Release your pent-up emotions. Releasing that emotional baggage is a form of catharsis. We can let go of that. We can feel a lightness in ourselves when we let go of all the junk that we carry with us. Release others' expectations. Letting go allows us to free ourselves from societal, familial, and personal expectations, so that all we need to worry about is what we're being called to do. What is that which you individually are called to do? We need to work toward our healing and our growth, and acknowledging again that that can take time for each one of us. It's not something that just happens overnight. Know that you can go into a time of peace and a time of meditation and quiet and learn to release those things that are no longer working for us. How do we do this? Meditation. That's always the right answer, right? We're a unity. Meditation always is one of the first answers. Massage, journaling, gardening, yoga, exercise, hot tub. There's all kinds of things we can do to release that pent-up energy that gets in each one of us. There's all that we can do to release those things that are a part of us that we no longer need. I had a house it was my first house ever, so I was in my 20s. And in the back of my house, it joined 4 other houses. So there were 5 houses that were so oddly designed in the yards that they all came together at one spot. And mine had behind it a little shed. And behind the shed was a great big pile of glass. And my neighbors, when they were new, always wondered why I had a big pile of glass. But the glass was there because when Hank gets mad, Hank breaks things. It's how I release that tension and energy in my body. I haven't done that for 30 years now, but I did it back then. And I would go to the store, and I would buy those cheap quarter 50-cent dishes that you can get in some places. And I would go in the backyard and toss them against that shed so that I would leave that lovely pile of glass at the bottom. It was good for me to get it out. You have to find what works for you. As I say, now that doesn't do a thing for me. But then it did, and then I left the glass to remind me of the lesson I had learned. We each have to find our way to release and to let go. Whatever works for you. Sometimes it's just crying. Crying is one of the best therapies you can go through. Just sit and cry. It clears your eyes. It allows us to focus. Crying has so many great values. It physically can heal us. Don't be afraid to cry. Let it go. Don't resist letting go. So what do you need to release this morning? What thought or belief is no longer serving you that needs to go? What trauma do you need to start working to release? If we want more good in our life, if we want more good in our churches, we have to let go of the old. We have to let go of the things that have moved on and gone. We need to be that new person. We need to be that new church. We need to be the new and the best and the good at what we are now. How do we do that? We cast out those other things, using some of the things that we've talked about this morning. We make room for Spirit to actually have a space to work in our lives. We open ourselves up to new experiences and say we're willing to try new things. We're willing to give something new. There's a story of a little girl, and she was praying aloud in her church, and they were doing the Lord's Prayer. And when you got to the part about trespasses, she didn't quite hear it the same as everybody else. And the little girl said, "Forgive us our trash baskets as we forgive others their trash baskets." Trash baskets. She's not wrong. So what needs to be in your trash basket this morning? What do we need to put in that trash basket to release and to let go so we can move into the highest and best for each one of us? What do you need to let go of this morning? I'm going to give you just a moment to consider that. And now I invite you to join me in a time of meditation.